Hi, welcome to Flex Your Future. Original here on CAN TV, my name is Rason Truss, founder and CEO of Trust and Ed. Flex Your Future was created and designed as just a place for individuals to come to and get a better understanding of what we do. My apologies, I was about to start. So Flex Your Future is a career and education series designed to give people honest insight into different career pathways, education options, and real-world outcomes so they can make informed decisions about their future. Each episode features conversation centered on clarity, purpose, and planning because education works best when it's original. What I want to do is, like I tell you guys all the time, my goal is to bring new individuals on this show and expose us to all the different career options out there. Now, I can't get to all 250 different career options, but I'm going to start somewhere. And I was able to say to myself, there's a lot of creativity going on in this world. A lot of individuals are eager to figure out, well, how do you tap into the digital media, multimedia broadcasting industry? And so I said to myself, hey, I ran across an individual that's amazing. He has his own company and he wants to share a lot of insight on multimedia broadcasting. So I want to introduce to you guys Vincent Harlston. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. You can have anyone on here, but you picked me, so I'm honored to be here.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. So before I get into it, and the audience, they tired of hearing me. They are tired of talking and listening to me. They want to hear from you. So can you just kind of talk about and introduce yourself and your role?
Sure. Well, like you said, my name is Vincent Harlston, or Vince Harlston. I'm currently the founder and CEO of V2J Elite Productions. That's my multimedia company. And I have a degree from Columbia College, downtown broadcast communication, multimedia. I'm going to tell you what year. But that was like the foundation of, where I started, doing production and doing media.
Okay.
And going back to even when I was younger, I went to CVS High School, Chicago Vocational Career Academy, and back then we had majors, and I majored in radio, TV productions.
Really?
Yes. And so my teacher, Mr. Badish, who's one of the greatest teachers of all time.
Okay.
We had camera equipment, and he showed us how to do different things. I'm like, man, this is wonderful career. So actually, as I'm thinking, it goes back to actually 5th grade where we should do something called News Beat. And we would sit here like this and we would talk about, local news, national news, and international news. And so I always have a love for broadcasting back then. And I started doing running camera and multimedia at my church, Vernon Park Church of God, when we was on 90th and Stony Island.
Okay.
So my love for broadcasting and media goes way back to I was young.
You know what? And he highlighted so many important facts that I got to make sure I stay on topic. Vince, my audience get mad at me. They're like, hey, Mr. Truss, stay on topic. But you said something that's really important, and we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to get into something else. How important is having career opportunities inside these high schools? Back then, we used to be able to have electives. We were exposed to so much. Something key to you say, hey, I took digital media and broadcasting in high school.
Yes.
CVS. So this is something that, again, audience, when we talk about exposure, this is key. Our high school students, how do we expect these people to know what to do next if they've never been exposed to it? So we got to bring these resources back into the school systems, starting with Flex Your Future. So
yes, sir.
How important was that for you to have, and think about what it has done for you now?
Man, it was so important. It was my foundation. Freshman year, you decide what major that you want to go into. Sophomore year, you had it for 1 class period.
Okay.
Junior year, you had it for 2 class periods. And senior year, you had it for basically half the day.
I remember that.
And you had to do projects, and you was excited because you get to pick what you want to do, and doing the different projects on different things. Like when I was in school, 9/11 happened, and so that was like the biggest thing that happened during our era.
Okay.
And so we made videos about 9/11, picture videos. From the survivors and the firefighters, and we picked songs to go with it. And it was like, man, it was sad, but it was like, learning and doing. Actually, I still have some of my stuff.
Okay.
And just, that being a foundation, it's so important to know, what you're in school for. Math is fine, English is fine, but, trades, that sets you up for your future.
You're right about that.
And if you don't know, like some people, and you can switch majors.
Right.
So if you don't like, radio and TV, you can go to carpentry.
Right.
Or you can go to plumbing. But now, the way it is now, a lot of trades are missing in the schools. And so what I do on the side is I offer photography and video. I teach it to students or people that want to learn. And so I have a curriculum, and we go through the basics of, what's the camera, why do you take this picture, what's the purpose? And I have a quote that's, talks about, cameras like, life is like a camera, you take this shot, it don't work out, you move on, you take another shot at it.
So I want to jump into something that's really important that you mentioned. I want the audience to understand, because before you go deep into like the highlights in what you're able to with the teaching methods, can you kind of talk to the audience for a second on what are the skills that are needed? So I know we know your education, but I want you to highlight all the resources, all the steps that individuals need to take, and a lot of things they don't understand. After you got your degree, what other initial steps that you had to take? I need you to really talk to them and let them know so they can be prepared for this industry.
Okay, well, so once I got my degree from Columbia, I decided to start my own company.
Okay.
So I was already doing, photography and video while I was in college. And so the steps I took to doing that, I was doing stuff at the church. And so I said, well, people started hiring me to do, videos and doing weddings. And so, I got, my papers, and I, became a actual company. And, just being focused and trying to, stay on task, because, it's not easy, getting gigs or, because it's a lot of people doing video, a lot of people doing photography. And so you just got to find your niche, find the right people and find the right avenues to get where you're trying to get to. And so it's been over 20 something years.
Wow.
And, I'm still here. I'm still, doing photography, still doing video, still doing broadcasting. And actually now I'm doing movies now.
Wow.
So working on the movie.
Wow.
So hopefully we have it out in the next year or so.
Okay.
But just, staying focused and doing what you really want to do. Because it's a lot of stuff going on out here. So you really lose your focus.
So that's something that's, and I appreciate you going down that rabbit hole for me and really giving individuals a backstory, right? What are the requirements needed to move ahead, right? So we know, okay, I get my bachelor's degree. Wonderful, great. What does that look like? What does the next step look like now I have my degree? Well, I didn't just sit out there and turn in resumes and look for somebody to come hire me. I put myself in a position. So you said you started at a local, I believe, church, right?
Yep.
You started at a church. You served.
Yes.
Something important. He served first, right? And then you started to get exposure. You started to understand, okay, these are the true skills that individuals are looking into.
Yes,
so you
sir.
started to do a lot of self-teaching, right? So not only did you have to spend time in those school systems and understanding materials, handing in papers, well, in your case, handing in video. Right, I don't even know the terms. I'm not going to act like it. This is the expert, not me. But handing in all those media, what's the term? You can throw one out for me.
So back in the day, I was still in the era where we would turn in little like the floppy disk.
Don't say so you had to put the media production on floppy disk too?
We had to learn. So one thing with media.
Uh-huh.
So like in college, like I took some radio classes also. You gotta learn the history.
Okay.
Where it comes from.
Okay.
And so some of the stuff for radio, the old reel, and so we would have to we cut a commercial.
Okay.
And so we would have to go and slice the reel with the razor blade, and then tape it back together, and then play it. And so you put it back, and then if you cut, so like you say, God is good, and say God, and the good is off.
You messed up.
So you gotta untape it.
Wow.
Tape that piece back on, and then put it back on the reel, listen to it again, and then cut it again.
So when before they had editing, you had to edit.
That was
manual editing.
But that taught you though to really listen and pay attention to what you're doing, because once you was like, okay, I know that's the part that I need. So I'm only cutting one time, because you end up cutting your finger with the razor blade, cutting so many times you get frustrated. So it really teaches you to listen and to understand what you're doing.
There was a what's your word? Something behind the madness, a skill behind the madness, a theory behind the madness, or something.
Yeah, it was just learning how to how to do different things, because it's like I said, once you cut your finger a couple of times, you don't want to keep cutting your finger.
Absolutely.
And so after that, we switched to the MP3 players.
Right.
And we actually had a chance to go to the Bulls game, and we was in the press box, and we had our headphones on, and we did the play-by-play with our, with our MP3 players. And they actually had a chance to go into the locker room and interview the players. And so it was a wonderful experience. But school, teaches you that, and learning that type of thing, knowing that type of things, I know what to do now when I do editing. Like, I mean, I'm not doing the the old school edit, but my ear is still there where I know what I'm looking for, and I know how to put it together. So you got to make sure that you know what you're doing and how to do it. So you got to learn the basics first.
Got it. And thank you so much for breaking that down, because it's important to understand the history, right? The history and the foundation. So we see where it all started. Now, what does it look like at this point, right? When you're talking about shooting a movie, that's huge. You think about where you started, where you had to literally cut and edit the film, to now you're actually shooting a movie. What skills are now needed for something like that?
Same thing. Patience, understanding, commitment. Because sometimes, we shot in a lot of different locations. We up at crack in the morning because there's less people. We had some scenes. We had a couple of car accident scenes, and so we driving on the street. So we had to get up in the morning. I'm sorry. We had to get up in the morning and do those scenes. Was nobody on the road, so nobody was thinking, hey, we was actually causing an accident. Actually, one of our shots is funny because we were shooting it, and the girl was on the she had passed out, and so she was on.
Wait, when you say she passed out, that was part of the scene.
Yeah, part of the scene.
Okay, all right.
So she was like bleeding, and so we was like looking over her, and somebody. So we heard the paramedics in the ambulance. So we like maybe it's for something else, and so we look up, and they was coming to us. And it was like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, we shooting a movie. So for somebody watching at their apartment to see, that scene was real. So I mean, hey, it's probably
something
a good
right,
scene. Yeah.
Right? Can we use the paramedics in the video, right?
And I was thinking that.
Like, can we have used them, right, to make it?
Paramedic, I'm like, paramedics, fire trucks came. I'm like, everybody's fine here. It's just part of this, part of the skit. So whenever we do finish the movie, I know that's going to be it's going to be a pretty good movie if other people,
absolutely,
watching it from their balconies, like, oh my God, you all okay?
So help me understand that when we get into this profession, I know you got so many different things that you have going on.
Yes, sir.
Right? What does a typical day look like being in that profession?
So you're talking about being as far as being in
Multimedia, broadcasting, digital, everything that is under that umbrella. Because you can do so much, which we're going to highlight in a second.
So, I mean, it all depends. So, I get a lot of photography gigs. Like I had one this morning with one of the chambers. I'm their resident photographer, and so once a month they have a chamber luncheon.
Okay.
And so they have a featured speaker, and so I'm there taking pictures, running the cameras, and so normally when I get home, I go through a couple of pictures, and I would send the presidents, some pictures, and then later on, I'll go through the videos.
Okay.
So I'm currently trying to finish up a wedding that I shot a couple of weeks ago. Just putting all the pieces together. So yeah, it all depends on the projects and what I'm doing. And I cut a promo video for an event I have coming up this Saturday. So I'm still piecing that together.
So is it, when you're looking for these jobs, is it more word of mouth? Because it's a lot of freelancing that it sounds like as well.
Yes.
Right? So how do you go about even landing a contract like that?
So yeah, a lot of things is word of mouth. People see you, and they see your work. They see you got to be friendly. Then I'm down to person. And so they're like, oh, how much you charge? What do you do? And I'm like, well, tell me what you want, and we'll work something out. And like, well, I see you've been doing. I've been on the chamber about 10 years now, taking their pictures, and so I got a lot of regular customers that come to me that want different things shot, and then now we're teaching students and stuff, try to set them up for a career path. And not just the cell phone, because I tell people, cell phones you can take pictures, you can email, you can text, you can be on the internet, you can do all that stuff with your phone. But a camera, a real good video camera, you can do two things with it. You can take pictures and you record video. So what I have, is made only for two things versus so not saying that my pictures or videos is better than yours, but in reality, it is because of
the functionality, right.
And the quality,
right?
And so
this is something that's made to support this industry.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were just about to speak to it, and I want to kind of dive into that. When you talk about all the businesses and everything that you're doing with the community, how does this impact our community, and what are you really bringing to the community when you have this skill, this knowledge behind digital broadcasting? What are you seeing out there?
Man, so I worked with After School Matters, teaching photography and video, and so we did a field trip. We went to the Museum of Broadcast Communications, and it would happen to be a college fair also. Okay. And so high school students, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, in different multimedia colleges was there. Columbia was there.
Just old stomping ground.
Yeah, my old stomping ground. So I had to show them some love.
Absolutely.
School down in Missouri that was just a pretty famous video photography multimedia school, and so I was like telling my students you all need to go visit each of these colleges and see what they had to offer. There's a lot of schools offer scholarships for different students. Now I didn't get a scholarship. I got a couple of grants and stuff like that, but it's so much for these kids have that's offered to them. I'm like, they even now they'll let you come down to the school, spend a weekend, and get to check out the programs. Back then I don't remember. I remember going out to Columbia and checking it out because it was local.
Right. But
for them to have the opportunity, I'm like, take advantage of it.
Right.
And so, some of the kids, they were signing up, and and then it was exciting to see that they actually was interacting, and and talking to professional people, because that's the whole purpose of the program was them to become photographers, videographers, but become young professional adults.
I think about shooting videos. It's the only thing that comes to my mind, right? Growing up as a kid, I'm going to shoot a video. And you had to learn software, right?
Yes.
What does that look like in your industry? What kind of technical skills are needed for you to advance and evolve within that industry to make yourself marketable?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, you get AI,
AI?
but AI doesn't. So you can tell it what to do, but sometimes it's not gonna do what you tell it to do.
Okay.
And so, but it's a lot more editing options versus when I was younger. But when I was in school, we had Avid, Final Cut.
I heard of Final Cut.
So that's like a Mac only product.
Got it.
So I personally use Adobe. Adobe Cloud, and so they have a student teacher edition that's only like $35 a month, so it's not really expensive.
Okay.
It's just the whole suite: Photoshop, Express, Rush, and it's tutorials on how to use it.
Okay.
Because it's sometimes not user friendly, but the main thing with editing is you got to be focused.
Okay.
Like you can't just say, "Hey, I'm sitting down for 5 minutes and put this together," because it's not gonna work. And so a lot of times with the way of the world, we all got ADHD. Like so, we can do stuff for a few minutes and then we're gonna do something else. And so we just got to sit down and focus on, what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Because if you don't, and you're gonna look at it and be like, oh man, I should have did this, I should have did that. And so I try to sit down, I try to storyboard, what I want. But a lot of times I already know what I want because I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
And so, I try to tell the students, hey, shoot to edit. Shoot as you shooting, you editing. So you already know what you want. So that's what you capture.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing that information. So, what kind of advice do you have? And after giving this information, I want you to really talk about all the projects that you have going on so that the world can know. But what kind of advice do you have for individuals looking to enter this industry? And they just imagine they don't know, right? But what advice would you give them?
I would say make sure it's something that you really want to do. I would say research it. I would say the media is so big. You have podcasting. You have stuff what we're doing now. So I would say just try not to master everything, but focus on certain things. So like if you want to become a photographer, learn about the different cameras, learn about shutter speed, aperture, learn about lighting, learn everything you need to know. And a lot of what they used to, news places used to let you come in and check out the studio. But I don't know if they do that no more. But when I was in school, we had the options to do that. So I was you can learn from different experts. You can reach out to people. You got the power of YouTube that will show you different things, so you don't got to mess with other things. It'll tell you the best cameras to get, the best lighting to get. So everything is in your disposal right now. So that's the advice I would give.
I appreciate that. And can you talk about everything that you have going on?
Yes, sir.
And how you can help the next person in their journey?
So I also have a nonprofit called Men's Empowerment Enterprise Chicago. And actually this Saturday, we're having a men's conference at the Willis Tower, the 66th floor of the Metropolitan.
Where is that at? In Chicago, right?
In Chicago, 233 Wacker.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple of wonderful speakers speaking on different things I'm dealing with men, mental health. We're talking about fatherhood, leadership, and representation matters.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a wonderful event. It's our 7th annual one.
Mm-hmm.
We give out scholarships, and so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out here, Vincent. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and share this information with us. Thank you for joining us on Flex Your Future. To learn more about career pathways, education options, and the Flex Your Future courses, visit trustanded.org. Join us next time as we continue exploring real careers, real experiences, and real pathway forward. My name is Rason Truss, founder of Trust and Ed, and this is Flex Your Future.